So after sleeping about 3 hours, I took the first bus of the day. Now taking the first bus of the second leg of this journey. It's 6:30 a.m. but I'm determined to do some walking. Just want to get outdoors. It's 40 degrees during the day at the moment. Going out at all is a struggle, and hiking, doing anything active at all is more or less impossible. So the only way to get around this was to head out super early, and hopefully we can have some adventure today. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to this adventure. See you soon. 13 minutes. I'd really like a coffee. Nowhere's open. It's too early. Since it's so early and the first bus isn't for another 10 to 15 minutes, I'm gonna walk to the next stop. I just want to keep moving. I'm trying to stay awake. It's just unbearably hot all night. So yeah, I just want to keep the momentum going. Sitting still for 10 minutes is not the one. Once you're up, just keep on moving, right? Today we're walking on a route called Barranco de las Palomas. This roughly translates as Barranco is like ravine, the ravine of the pigeons. Palomas is pigeons or doves, but I think pigeons is the more accurate translation. So pigeon ravine doesn't quite have the same ring to it as El Barranco de las Palomas. But before we do that, we need to cross this busy road. So there are a few different ways that you can enter into this walking route, and today we're going to head under the busy road and through this tunnel and up this side. It's a little steeper initially to begin with. Accessing further up is a little tricky from this side, but I'm up for a challenge. Super steep, and it's not really a well-made road, but I'm gonna head up here. Wait, there's a smaller path here. It may take longer, but perhaps this meanders around so I can avoid that really steep. Yes, it does. Tell me that's not a dog's skull? We're approaching a clearing now. Things seem to be opening up. I've come a different route to the last time I was here. To be honest, I don't really know where I am. I mean, I know more or less where I am. I can go back if I need to, but I'm not quite sure where this pathway will take us. Only one way to find out. Hello friends, I'd like to say thank you to all of my supporters, subscribers, followers, friends, family. Thank you everyone for joining me on this adventure. I'd also like to share with you something that has really given me a huge amount of motivation and encouragement, and that is some of the responses I've had to my gratitude time videos. For anyone that isn't aware, on these adventures I always try to include a moment of gratitude where I say thank you to somebody in my life and thank you to somebody within the world of YouTube that has inspired me in some way to create this channel and to keep going. I never in a million years expected any responses to any of those people that I featured in my videos, and the best sign of that is that I didn't even tag the first YouTuber that featured in my first video. I didn't even know how to tag him. The point of giving gratitude to somebody within YouTube is, I guess, just as a gesture of goodwill and just to send out some positive vibes into the ether. I just wanted to say, thank you to somebody that had given me some inspiration, I suppose. I just was completely blown away when I received a response from Paul from Hayes Outdoors, a direct response to my message, to my video. It had never even entered my mind that he would ever even see my video, let alone respond. And to have had a response, a direct response to all 4 of my YouTube gratitude time features has just really blown me away. These are people that I really admire, and that part of the reason that I respect them so much is because these people are quite accessible, and they're so authentic. They seem very personable and very genuine and honest, lovely people. But I still never expected a response, and I can't believe that. So, Hayes Outdoors, Let's Talk FPL, Off Camping, and Grace's Adventures, all 4 of these people responded, and they have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of subscribers in some instances, and I think at the last count I have like 30 subscribers. They don't gain anything from responding to me, really, right? And yeah, I'm not expressing myself very clearly here, but I guess I just wanted to say that don't ever be afraid to reach out to somebody that has positively influenced you and say thank you. Let them know, right? And actually it turns out that my having expressed my appreciation of them has had a positive effect on them too. They've all expressed, gratitude for my gratitude, and that's just unbelievable. It really is. And it's not about likes, it's not about follows and subscribers or even views, although those things are something of a necessary feature of having a YouTube channel and of social media in general. This is all so new to me, and I created these accounts just for my JW6 channel. I have no experience of using these social media channels, and I just had no idea that people would actually see my message and respond to me directly. It's really given me some motivation and encouragement to keep going forward in this quite a difficult period. In the initial phases of having a YouTube channel, I'm learning, are challenging. The results are really limited. The number of subscribers and hours of views that I have to accumulate in order to sort of reach
a bigger milestone within the framework of YouTube is a million miles away right now, and I just need to keep on doing what I'm doing. Just keep creating content, keep creating a positive atmosphere, and just don't give up. Keep on moving forward. Try to be original, continue to be authentic, and just, if I can just continue to be myself, I'm really hoping that there could one day be a future in this channel. And if there isn't, there isn't. That's okay too. If I only create these videos as a record of this time of my life, and as something perhaps for my daughter to look back at one day, then that's okay as well. That's okay. If this channel can one day grow to the point where I could travel further afield, I'd really like to do Jimbo walks in other parts of this country. Who knows, maybe one day other countries within Europe, or, you know, I've traveled quite widely in the past, and I'm now at a time in my life where I'm not really able to do those things as I could previously. So if this channel one day enabled me to take my positivity further afield, then that would be great. So yes, if there's somebody in your life or out there in the wider world that you would like to say thank you to, don't hesitate. Just do it. Who knows? They may even hear your kind words. They may even respond and validate that positive energy that you are putting out there. If you can do that, it just goes full circle. Thank you again to Hayes Outdoors, Off Camping, Let's Talk FPL, Grace's Adventures, and many others. You guys have really reminded me of the value of expressing gratitude. So, thank you.
Even as an introductory IPA, I think it's a little... I will review this.
Onion, garlic, oil, seasoned mix, chorizo, eggs,
you guessed it, leave no trace. It's now almost 10 a.m. and now it's hot. The sun just peeked its head over the hill on this side just as I was cooking, and in the last half an hour or so it's gone from what was actually quite pleasantly cool this morning to really hot. It's probably already early 30s, I would say. We've been hitting 40 degrees most days, so yeah, that's partly why I did this trip today, because I've been stuck at home for so long. It's impossible to do anything in the day, really, especially anything active. So we appear to be reaching a corner here. Your guess is as good as mine as to what's around this corner. Let's find out together. Ow. Wow. More track, of course. I'm right in the full glare of the sun. I really need to turn a corner so that I can walk in the shade for a bit. Okay, so thankfully it seems as though we're reaching a road and an open space. I'm hoping from there we can find our way back round over to the pine tree area. Since I have the immense pleasure and privilege of being in such an incredible environment here, up in the hills of Andalusia, I thought now would be a great opportunity to do today's gratitude time. Very quickly, for anyone not aware, in these videos I take a moment to give my gratitude and thanks and appreciation and recognition to someone in my own life and somebody in the world of YouTube, somebody that's perhaps inspired me to start my channel. Firstly, in terms of the outdoor adventure YouTube channels, today I'd like to express my appreciation to Matt from Adventure is Made. Matt goes on trekking, hiking, camping, outdoor adventures with his canine companion Poppy. Poppy is a beautiful dog who really brings a kind of extra element to his videos and some company to him. What I really like about Adventure is Made is that I think his channel really encapsulates the simplicity of the outdoors, how like sometimes we can get wrapped up in having all the best gear and the best equipment and the best locations, and especially when you're filming, like you can sometimes get wrapped up in making sure everything's right. I think Matt really perfectly captures the simplicity and the beauty of just sitting on the edge of the water, you know, your tarp tent set up somewhere in the background, a cold beer chilling in the water, and just the tranquility and peace and quiet and that glorious sublime silence of just being out in the middle of nowhere and enjoying being away from the city and away from stress and all of what modern life brings. So in summary, please check out Matt's channel, Adventure is Made. I really think that if you're just looking for that beautiful moment of peace and quiet of being out camping in the wilderness, you get that instantly with his videos. Adventure is Made YouTube channel, Matt and Poppy, just beautiful videos. In my own life, I'd like to say thank you to Ryan's somebody that I worked with years and years ago now in London, and we've remained friends ever since. I haven't seen the guy for years. I haven't been in London. I was in Bolivia for years. I'm now back in Spain. We haven't caught up in person for a long time. Ryan really brings an entrepreneurial spirit to me in my life. He encouraged me to set up my own business when I had the opportunity, when my daughter was born back in 2017. He was really encouraging, motivated me. Like I bounced off of him lots of ideas, and he really was invaluable in helping me go from taking an idea and a concept into something that was operating. And yeah, I really thank him for that. And even now with this channel, like I've spoken with him, he's really been helpful in giving me ideas and encouragement, motivation, bringing positivity. He has a real amazing optimism, and you just feel this positive energy resonating from him. And yeah, Ryan's awesome. He's such a great person, and I really look forward to seeing him when I'm back in London. Thank you, Ryan. The crest of that cliff face in front is this vibrant red, dusty colour. It really reminds me of when I was in Australia. They have this, I can't remember if it's ochre or ochre, I can't remember how you say it, but this type of deep red brick colour. Finally, after maybe 2 hours of walking directly under blazing summer sun, we found some shade. We're hopefully now entering an area with far more shade and an area where we can rest. Thankfully, we are finally passing from the sun to the shade. If you can hear me over the sound of the cicadas, you'll see what it looks like the ruins of a building or something man-made is going on here anyway. It's not natural formations. Either they've cut through the rocks to make what looks like it could be a cycle track or something.
Hello and welcome to another beer review with JW6. Today we will be reviewing the Arriaca Starter IPA. This is a Spanish beer brewed in Guadalajara here in Spain, and as the name suggests, it's their introductory IPA, their India Pale Ale. There are 3 or 4 different varieties of IPA available with Arriaca, and I've tried a couple of the others. They were good. Solid, nothing amazing, but solid, pretty decent, and this is very much in a similar vein. Actually, this starter IPA is only available in Lidl, as far as I know. It's a product they produce specifically for Lidl, and it's also available at a reduced price. Standard cost of an Arriaca IPA is actually quite high. They can be a couple of euros a can, which that's pretty steep here, but I believe I paid 79 cents in euros for this, which is excellent value for an IPA. What I tend to do with these reviews is that I'll buy 2 of the beers. I had one a couple of days ago at home in a glass, perfect temperature, had some time to think about it, did some research, and then I bring one with me so that I can review it live effectively whilst I'm out on a hike or a camp or here out in the outdoors. So this time I'm just going to get straight to it. I'm going to open up this can, have a taste of it. As always with my live reviews, this can has been in my bag. I've been walking around for a few hours with it. It is quite cold still. It was really chilled, and it was with my cold water bottle, so it's not warm, but it is quite shaken up. Let's take a sip. Well, that was a gulp, not a sip. I'm thirsty. I've been walking for hours. My water's more or less finished. So I was looking forward to this beer review. It's good. It's a solid 3-star beer, in my opinion. It's an introductory IPA, so it's intentionally nothing too hoppy or too intense or too fruity. On their website it actually states that this beer was designed as an introduction to IPA for customers, and it actually does state that it's all of the features of an IPA without the complexity, their words, and I couldn't agree more. It definitely has some of the characteristics, some of the features of an IPA. Like, it is a little hoppy. It definitely does have some of the intensity, but it's medium across the board. It's medium body, it's medium flavor, it's medium hoppiness, it's medium bitterness, it's medium, like the depth of the flavor is just very average. And sometimes that's okay, sometimes that's enough, right? If I'm to compare this to others, I'd have to take it down to like a 3 stars, as I say. It's certainly not bad, it's good, but nothing more. It's worth mentioning that this is 5% and it's a 33 centiliter or 330 milliliter can. I quite like the design of the can, actually. It is an interesting design. It was quite appealing, it was quite attention grabbing when I saw it. Arriaca as a brewery presents itself as more like artisanal, so you're generally expecting a higher quality product than with some of the much bigger commercial companies that have released an IPA, but they don't necessarily bring with it that history, that kind of authenticity, that trade and that skill of brewing a really decent IPA. But Arriaca have positioned themselves in the market as being more artisanal. They're a higher price point and you're expecting more from it. For that reason, I am being a little harsh probably. I think I do expect a bit more than what's being offered here. Even as an introductory IPA, I think it's a little weak in flavour. Generally, I have to say that I do like this. I think it's a good beer, and I would recommend it actually. If you can get this at a great price, if you're, for example, if you had a party and you wanted to buy 24 cans and you can get it at such an amazing price, I think this is fine. It's not too offensive. Sometimes when I introduce people to IPA, as a new style of beer that they're not familiar with, you see in their face they're kind of, ooh, it's a little too intense, a little too hoppy for some people. So I think if you had a party, something like that, and you just needed to buy a stack of these, like a pallet of 24 cans for example, I think this is probably a great shout. It's cost effective. It does do what they claim it should do, which it does give you some indication of the characteristics of an IPA. And it's unlikely to turn anybody off. All in all, it's a positive review. 3 stars is not bad. This is fine. It's good. I recommend it. Check it out. You can find it in Lidl, I imagine. As always, thank you for watching this beer review. Please subscribe to the channel. Please put a comment below and let me know if you enjoy these videos. Is there anything you'd like me to do differently? Is there a specific beer that you think you'd like to see reviewed? I can certainly try and find it. And is there anything in part of the presentation of the beer review that you think could be done differently? I'm always open to suggestions. I would very much appreciate your feedback. Thank you as always for your time and support. Have a wonderful day. See you soon. Goodbye. Stealth Company one.
think we're getting closer to the road now. It is really steep. There's no way I'm going back. It's too hot. I'm running out of water. Plus, I'm going straight from here to a friend's house to use his swimming pool. So that's all I'm thinking about right now. Keep my eye on the prize. Down here is where we started this morning, where we crossed over that main road and started heading up into the hill. So this is where we're heading now, back to Cenes de la Vega. But first, I'm going to skid and slide my way all the way down this hill. Let's see what happens. So close yet so far. In addition to it being steep, it's all just loose rocks and stones. This is a little silly that I'm doing this with a camera in my hand as well. Yeah. If I just walk kind of like sideways like a crab, I can just spread out my weight. Oh. I'm going to stop for a moment in the shade, have some water. Wow. I will review this very shortly. Oh. Here we are. Here we are. Yes. Ah, yes. Oh, yeah, my lungs and my mouth, everything's full of dust. So dry. It hasn't rained in weeks. Thank you for joining me on today's adventure. As always, just knowing you guys are with me on these trips really makes it worthwhile and just gives me the motivation to get outdoors and get moving, and yeah, and stay active, stay busy. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, it would be much appreciated. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions about today's adventure, please drop me a comment below. I read and respond to every question, so it would be great to hear from you. Thank you so much for your support. As always, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Goodbye.